Hi, my name's James. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Clever Money Dad. This is my channel about making the most of your finances as a parent. So today I wanted to talk about 5 things you should absolutely do before you have a baby. Now, having a baby is an exciting time. It's a daunting time. One thing's for certain, financially, you're pretty much on your own. Nobody is going to tell you how you should be managing your money. There are no leaflets that are handed out in the postnatal ward. There is no real support, nobody telling you about all of the benefits that you can get as a parent. So I wanted to really pull it back to basics and give you just 5 key steps that I would absolutely take. So the first thing I would do is budget for the baby. Now, luckily, babies aren't necessarily the most expensive things in the world, especially if they're being breastfed. You absolutely need to spend a bunch of money initially on the baby, maybe to give them those essentials that you need. You need your pushchair, you need your cot, you need your clothes, your nappies, etc. This can really add up. So you could easily end up spending thousands of pounds on all of these essentials. Now, some of this stuff can be extortionately expensive. Pushchairs can go into the low thousands of pounds. Cots can cost many, many hundreds of pounds. There are a whole ton of accessories that are being sold as must have essentials for your baby. But in reality, you don't need to spend that much money. Only spend as much as you feel comfortable with. Most of what you buy will get used half a dozen times, and then you'll end up giving it away to friends or selling it on Facebook Marketplace. As well as that, you've got your ongoing expenses. So you will have your clothes, your nappies, maybe your baby formula as you go along, and as they get older, obviously they move on to food, etc. But certainly on a monthly basis, you don't necessarily need to spend much more than 25 to £50 on your baby. Now, the second thing I would do is purchase a life insurance policy. Now, I'm going to cover this in another video or probably a few videos later on, but I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to have life insurance. Life may be going really well at the moment. You might be earning a good amount of income. You might have various sources or streams of income as well, but life can change in an instant. And as depressing as it is to think about it, you want to make sure that should anything happen to you, that your family is covered, that your children will be supported through the next 18 years or so. Your wife is supported as well. Maybe she earns enough money to cover childcare costs as it is, maybe not. But you certainly want to make sure that you are financially looking after your family, and it's the last gift that you can leave them. Following on from that, the third thing I would make sure you have sorted is a will. And this isn't just yourself, this is your partner as well. What if the worst happened to you and your partner? What would happen to your children? You absolutely got to make sure that you have a plan in place should anything happen to the two of you. Not just regarding the children, but also regarding your finances. So as it stands, if you were to pass away and you have no will, the state will decide what happens to your finances and they will take a massive chunk of it. Do you want to have trust funds for your children? Do you want to give money to whoever's looking after your children so that they can afford everything that is needed for your child to be brought up? The decision is totally on you. We'll cover this in another video, but absolutely make sure you have a will in place. The next thing I would do is to review your emergency savings fund. Life can get very expensive very quickly. There could be a storm tonight where a roof tile falls off. Now, you might not notice that, but you start getting a leak in the house. Suddenly your ceiling falls through, and suddenly you're spending thousands of pounds on fixing something in your house. You could have car issues. Maybe this afternoon your engine light comes on. You don't fix that straight away. You leave that, and that could get very, very expensive over the next couple of weeks. But when you've got a child, you need to think about making sure that you've got enough money so that issues can be fixed. I would also add on to this while you're reviewing how much money's in your fund is that if there are things that need sorting, get them sorted before you have the baby. because time just disappears as a parent. So absolutely make sure that you get as much fixed. If there were some fence posts in the garden that needed sorting, get them fixed before you have a baby, because suddenly you'll be 2, 3 years down the line and you still won't have fixed it. And the final thing that I would make sure you do is, as soon as they're born, make sure there's a savings account for your child. Now, there are various schemes in place, some run by the government, some run by the private sector, but make sure that you are starting to save for your child. Saving a little often now means that you can benefit from compounding interest, and over time that small amount will become a really large amount. But not just savings, investments as well. So maybe you might want to set your child up with a pension, get them sorted for the future. Maybe you want to invest their money in a stocks and shares ISA, but it's all about setting them up for the rest of their life. So maybe they get to 18 or 21 or 25 and you've got an amount of money set aside for them. The more you save earlier, the less painful it will be later on to make sure you've got that money in place. One idea is, instead of a whole bunch of gifts from friends and family that you may not ever use, so cuddly toys, books, clothes that just get put in a drawer somewhere, maybe you might want to ask for some money for your child's account. That's a great way to set them up for the future. So that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Those were 5 tips for things I would make sure I get sorted before I have a baby. If you like the video, please feel free to subscribe, drop a comment, and I'll certainly get back to you as soon as I can. And if you like my content, please keep an eye out for more. And until then, thank you and bye-bye.